Welcome back to the channel, guys. The channel's name is Clarence K4. You can follow me on Instagram at Clarence K4, and we're back with another video. Today's video is going to be on the topic of prayer. I hope this video is a blessing to you and encouragement, so let's jump on into this video. If you have a Bible, I encourage you to grab it and turn to James 5:16. James 5:16 is going to be our text verse or our launching point into this topic of the power of prayer. So James 5:16 says, "Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much." Now, I really want to focus on the second part of this verse. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Now, fervent means having or displaying a passion or intensity. So if you are passionately praying for something or intensely praying for something, and you are right with God, God will answer your prayers. And we are going to look at a story which can be found in Acts chapter 12, where the church was praying passionately or fervently for the apostle Peter, and we are going to see what happens. Now, for sake of time, I am not going to read the whole chapter of Acts 12. I'm going to do a little bit of summarizing. So Herod the king is persecuting the church and is gathering people in the church and killing them. So he captures the apostle Peter and throws him in prison and has all of these people guarding him and soldiers surrounding him and guarding him so he can't escape the prison. And he is planning on killing Peter. Well, the church is passionately praying, and in Acts 12:5 it says, "Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto God for him." So the church was praying without ceasing, and I am going to talk about what it means to pray without ceasing a little later on in the video. But they were passionately praying for Peter, and God heard their prayers and sent, the day before Herod was going to kill Peter, God sent his angel to help Peter escape. And the angel comes into the prison and says, "Hey Peter, put on your sandals, follow me." And his chains are loosed, and he is following this angel out of the prison. And as he walks out of the prison, he's kind of I think Peter's like, "Oh, did I dream this? Is this a vision? Or is this really happening?" And when the angel leaves him and he's outside of the prison, he finally comes to himself and goes to one of the houses where the people are gathered and are praying for him. And he knocks on the door, and there's this woman that comes to the door and hears Peter's voice. And instead of opening the door, she runs back and tells the others, "Hey, Peter's at the door, Peter's at the door." And they're like, "No, he isn't. He's in prison. We're praying for him because Herod captured him and he's in prison. You're crazy. That's Peter's angel." But Peter continued knocking on the door, and when they answered the door and saw Peter, they were amazed. And Peter explained to them how the angel of the Lord came and rescued him and helped him out of the prison. And he said, "Go and tell the others." And this is just an amazing story, and I think that this is a great example about how powerful prayer is. The church was praying for Peter because Peter was in prison. Herod was going to kill Peter. And God heard their prayers and sent the angel to rescue Peter and help him escape prison. Now I want to talk about praying without ceasing. And in 1 Thessalonians 5:17, it says, pray without ceasing. Now, I don't think this verse means literally to be praying without ceasing, like as you're driving in the car, having your eyes closed and praying. That would not be a good idea. That would essentially be letting me drive, you're going to crash. I personally believe this verse, pray without ceasing, means always having a heart for prayer or always having a mindset towards prayer. And I just want to share another story, a personal story of my life of how I have witnessed the power of prayer. So I was 7 years old, and my parents were picking me and my sisters up from school, and we were driving home, and we were in a terrible accident. My dad dislocated and broke his hip. My dad also compound fractured his ankle. My sister Lindsay wasn't breathing on her own. My sister Leilani broke her femur, and it was an absolute terrible accident. My family was in the hospital for several weeks. My sister Lindsay also crushed her cheekbone and had to have plastic surgery to reconstruct her cheekbone. And my family was in the hospital for several weeks and had multiple surgeries. And during this time, we were praying, and our church family was praying to God, asking Him to help us through this trial. And as we were praying, and I can say that we really bathed everything in prayer as we were going through this trial. My dad was out of work for a long time, and we were really just praying to God and asking God to help us. And I would say almost 12 years later, through the car accident that happened 12 years ago, all of my family, we are all really healthy, and we are all closer to God and closer together as a family because we prayed fervently and passionately as we were going through this trial, and our church family was praying without ceasing and was praying fervently and passionately for us as we were going through this trial. So I just wanted to share these two stories, this one in Acts 12, and then my personal story to kind of give you an example of how powerful prayer is, because I think the story in Acts 12 with the Apostle Peter is a great example of how powerful prayer is. And I hope that if you are going through a trial, that you will really just bathe everything in prayer and really just pray without ceasing and fervently pray to God to help you get through this trial and really grow closer to God as you're going through this trial. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and this video was a blessing to you. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Please share the channel with your friends. And if you have any comments or suggestions of different topics you would like me to talk about, please comment them down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, God loves you.